What's good, YouTube? Sensational Sinceres here, and I'm back with another Tom Clancy's The Division Vendor Reset video. We're here for June 4th, 2021's Vendor Reset. So let's get right into this to see what we got good for this week. For our first gear items, head over to Camp Hudson. Here the weapons vendor has a custom M870 MCS. And also here we got a heavy magazine spring. For our next gear items, we're still at Camp Hudson. Head over to the gear vendor here and we got a tactical mask with the talent rehabilitated on there. And also here we got a prototype performance mod with 3.50% ballistic shield damage. For our next gear items, head over to the base of operations. Here the weapons vendor has an M249B. For our next gear items, we're still at the base of operations. Head over to the advanced weaponry vendor and here we got a police UMP45. Next here we got a classic AK-47. Also here we got a military RPK-74M. Next here we got a heavy magazine spring. For our next gear items, we're still at the base of operations. Head over to the special equipment vendor and here we got a pecan if you like to run this weapon. Next here we got a historian. Next here we got a classic AK-47. Next here we got an MG5. Also here we got an operator mask with the talent tenacious. Next here we got a spec ops armor with the talent rapid. Also here we got an operator pack with the talent inventive. Next here we got a small grip red. For our next gear items, we're still at the base of operations. Head over to the special blueprints vendor and here we got an electronics gloves blueprint with a gear score of 256. Next here we got a stamina knee pad blueprint with a gear score of 256. For our next gear items, head over to Kermit station. Here the weapons vendor has a tactical 45 ACP. And also here we got a muzzle brake. For our next gear items, head over to Camp Clinton. Here the special equipment vendor has a pecan if you like to run this weapon. Next here we got a Cassidy. Also here we got a Liberator. Next here we got a converted SMG 9A2. Next here we got a black market AK-74. Next here we got a Model 700. Also here we got a tactical M249 Para. Next here we got a tactical mask with the talent refreshed. Also here we got a tactical vest with the talent reckless. Next here we got an operator pack with the talent specialized. Next here we got a heavy magazine spring. For our next gear items, we're still at Camp Clinton. Head over to the special blueprints vendor and here we got a military M9 blueprint with a gear score of 256. Next here we got an ACR blueprint with a gear score of 256. Also here we got electronics gloves blueprint with a gear score of 256. And also here we got a small laser pointer blueprint with a power level 34. For our next gear items, head over to Dante's Run. Here the gear vendor has a spec ops mask with the talent rehabilitated. And also here we got a prototype performance mod with 2% pulse critical hit chance. For our next gear items, head over to Autumn's Hope. Here the gear vendor has the operator vest with the talent rapid. For our next gear items, head over to the Ward. Here the gear vendor has a prototype electronics mod with 200 electronics and 4% damage to elites. And also here we got a prototype performance mod with 6% first aid self-heal. For our next gear items, head over to the Southpaw. Here the gear vendor has a spec ops mask with the talent enduring. And also here we got a prototype electronics mod with 256 electronics and 3% skill haste. For our next gear items, head over to the Firewall. Here the gear vendor has a prototype performance mod with 5% support station healing speed. For our next gear items, head over to the Crypt. Here the weapons vendor has a high velocity magazine. For our next gear items, head over to West 31st Street checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone vendor has a tactical pack with the talent specialized. Next here we got a prototype firearms mod with 266 firearms and 2.50% exotic damage resilience. For our next gear items, head over to West 39th Street checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone vendor has a black market RPK-74E. And also here we got an extended magazine. For our next gear items, head over to West 42nd Street checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone vendor has a classic M44 carbine. Next here we got a prototype performance mod with 6% first aid ally heal. For our next gear items, head over to West 53rd Street checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone vendor has a first wave Vector 45 ACP. Next here we got a prototype performance mod with 4.50% ballistic shield damage resilience. For our next gear items, head over to East 64th Street checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone gear mod vendor has a prototype performance mod with 6% sticky bomb explosion radius. For our next gear items, head over to the Park Ave checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone weapons vendor has a military G36. And also here we got a police MK17. For our next gear items, head over to East 53rd Street checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone vendor has an operator vest with the Talent Rapid. And also here we got an extended magazine. For our next gear items, head over to East 46th Street checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone vendor has an Omega rifle suppressor. For our next gear items, head over to East 34th Street checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone vendor has an operator pack with the Talent Relentless. And also here we got a small grip red. For our next gear items, head over to the 5th Ave checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone vendor has a prototype performance mod with 6.50% Seeker Mine explosion radius. For our next gear items, head over to DZ2 safe room. Here the Dart Zone gear vendor has a Spec Ops mask with the Talent Enduring. Next here we got a Spec Ops armor with the Talent Reckless. And also here we got some Spec Ops gloves with the Talent Savage. For our next gear items, head over to DZ3 safe room. Here the Dart Zone weapons vendor has a converted SMG 9A2. Next here we got a custom P416 G3. Also here we got a tactical Super 90 SBS. For our next gear items, head over to DZ4 safe room. Here the Dart Zone gear mod vendor has a prototype electronics mod with 259 electronics and 2,985 skill power. And also here we got a prototype performance mod with 3.50% Seeker Mine damage. For our next gear items, head over to DZ5 safe room. Here the Dart Zone weapon mod vendor has a heavy magazine spring. For our next gear items, head over to DZ8 safe room. Here the Dart Zone gear vendor has a tactical mask with the Talent Enduring. Next here we got a gunslinger vest with the Talent Reckless. Also here we got a Spec Ops pack with the Talent Inventive. For our next gear items, head over to DZ9 safe room. Here the Dart Zone weapon mod vendor has a 5.52 hollow sight 10. Alright everybody, that's it for our Tom Clancy's The Division vendor reset video for June 4th, 2021's vendor reset. Hope everybody who tuned into it found them something that they needed. Smash on that sub and like button, y'all appreciate that support. And I'll see y'all with the next one, everybody. Take care, peace.